So first one is getting comfortable with the uncomfortable. So doing more uncomfortable things, okay, in order for you to grow. It sounds cliche, but it is true. It's easy to get in this kind of comfortable zone and things are kind of cruisy, but in order to, achieve your goals, big or small, there's got to be some level of discomfort along the way, and it's always more fulfilling when you've done something that's a little bit more challenging and being able to achieve that, okay? Whatever it could be, for lifting, your relationships, whatever it is, it's got to be a little bit uncomfortable, but on the other side, it's not as bad as it seems, okay? So for example, with how it all started when it comes to my powerlifting, it wasn't a typical, I just start lifting in the gym and that's it. It wasn't like that. My goals were just simply just like an average Joe, just trying to lose a bit of body fat and get lean. As simple as that. You got to start somewhere, right? So that was one of my goals, and then eventually, I didn't like where I was at. I just came off a toxic relationship, and realized, I got a bit sloppy with my food, gained a bit of weight, wasn't even lifting, so I just wasn't doing anything right. So working on yourself first, prioritizing that, if that's where you are, in terms of at that stage of your life, so you can have a bit more clarity of where you want to go. It could be literally anything, okay? And to add on that is making sacrifices along the way. Everyone has the same amount of time in the day, but if you are not utilizing it to your advantage, then you end up just wasting unnecessary time and not getting closer to where you want to be. So being focused on those goals and trying to do more, so you can, not more, but like in terms of doing more things that will get you closer to where you want to be, rather than just deviating and whatnot, okay? But yeah, just doing more uncomfortable things. And going back to my experience, I could have done bodybuilding, I could have done powerlifting, but either way I still wanted to lift weights to just be able to gain my muscle and get strong, okay? Powerlifting was just like almost like a hobby in the beginning. I did 2 novice comps, just a bit of fun, and I ended up liking it. And in a way, it was like 2 birds in 1 stone. Like I ended up lifting, ended up being good at it, I enjoy lifting, and then now I prioritize a lot more than I would when I first started, and I realize, becoming an athlete is, one of the goals that I want to be doing on a regular basis, okay? So yeah, it wasn't that simple, but the key thing is combining the nutrition as well. Like I think that was a big factor. Like, people might say, just focus on training and then food, just hit your macros and that's it. It's not that, simple. There's more that goes into it, like, on a daily, how many calories you're eating, the protein, the meal frequency, all that kind of stuff. So when it comes to food, like there's more that goes into it, and life can get in the way sometimes, but I always found that if it's important to you, you'll make time for it, okay? And that's where it comes tie into that, making those sacrifices and taking responsibility for your actions, and in a way not blaming anyone for your current outcome. Simple as that, okay? It might be a bit more of a harder approach, but if you're stuck in a position where you want to achieve great things, then you've got to do those things to achieve them, okay? So yeah, now we're in a place where started working on myself, doing obviously coaching as well. And something I also say with my clients as well when it comes to nutrition is you can't out-train a poor diet. Like I can ask anybody that trains in the gym, they would probably say they train quite hard, most of them. And the difference between someone that's got a good physique and one that doesn't, or is strong, is literally the diet and their food, okay? And I'm not saying like you got to be super strict or anything like that. It's more your current baseline of how you eat and making small changes, you know, such as, you know, having more veggies, having more protein throughout the day, and that could just be it, you know. And as you get further down the line, then you can decide to go, you know what, this is my foundation or my baseline, and how can I get better from that? So yeah, that's basically what I want to touch on. Hopefully it can help one of yous in this new year, because it is important to set certain goals up and get closer to them by at least having some sort of direction, because without a destination, like, you're gonna be shooting aimlessly. All right, so that's enough from me. Let's get into it. It is going to be a pretty big session, and this week is deload for me, but today's session is actually the last week of my 4th week, so that will be interesting to see what we do. Honestly, I am fatigued, but we just do what's required and show up for ourselves, okay? Because that's what we do. But yeah, and just trust in the process. You know, you're not going to see the results right away, but by focusing on daily habits and weekly habits, and, you know, doing things in that kind of way, it may seem boring, but you got to pick, like, what choose your hard. You're right. So yeah, otherwise, let's get into training and smash it. Let's go.